This week on Previews World Weekly, Saga makes a comeback. We discuss your favorite movie scores and who is the most trustworthy character in Candyland. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly.
Hey, what's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day. I know this very specific fun fact. It is 101 days until Free Comic Book Day.
101, okay. Which means, of course, tomorrow's 100 days. Is that why you know that?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that is an important fact. Look, people are going to ask, when is it? Now you guys know, and we'll tell you again. What we'll tell you tomorrow on social media.
Yep.
We'll tell you 75 days, 50 days, 25 days. We'll make sure that you're covered. Don't you worry. Okay. Actually, let's talk a little bit about Free Comic Book Day, Ashton. I saw some Marvel stuff floating around this week. What's going on?
Yeah, so Marvel made some announcements earlier this week. They revealed the plot points and the cover art for 2 of their Free Comic Book Day books. So the first one is their gold title, which is a Spider-Man Venom story. And so last week we talked about Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. taking over the reins for Amazing Spider-Man. So their Free Comic Book Day book plays into that. This will be kind of your first look at what their storyline is going to be in their Amazing Spider-Man story, and also a look at what's going on in the Venom stories. And it has a super cool Venom variant cover, which is just dope to look at.
Absolutely.
And then with their silver book, so they have 2 silver books. They haven't announced any information regarding their second silver book, but their first silver book here is Marvel Voices, which has just the most colorful, vibrant cover you could look at. It also has a variant cover. We'll get to that in just a second. But their Marvel Voices book is going to be an introduction to some of their different Marvel Voices stories, which spotlights the LGBTQ plus creators and the people of color creators that have had a hand in putting together Marvel stories over the years, and dive in deeper to kind of the things they've contributed there. And their variant cover is a really cool Black Panther cover. And I believe that's a Peach Momoko cover as well.
It is. Yeah, that definitely is. It's unmistakable. Like when you see Peach Momoko, you know it's Peach Momoko, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Dave Brown Schindler, saying he can't wait for Free Comic Book Day. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
I can't wait either.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Like I'm a big fan of the Marvel Voices series. It's actually a podcast that Marvel does. And from that podcast, they spun off these series of books. They just did one for Indigenous people, I think was the most recent one. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on those at your local comic shop when they arrive the first Saturday in May, because we're back to that again. We're back to doing the first Saturday in May.
Yes.
As God intended, right?
Exactly.
As the comic gods intended. I got some announcements, or I got at least one big announcement this week. There is a new previews catalog dropping this week at your local comic shop. Matter of fact, it's dropping today.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, absolutely. So if you check it out, you will see on the front cover that IDW is celebrating 40 years of the Rocketeer. Now, I have not been around for all 40 years of the Rocketeer, but I definitely remember. Well, actually, it's kind of weird, actually, because I thought the Rocketeer was an older character, but actually, the Rocketeer is not. I definitely remember the movie. I don't know if you remember the movie from the 90s. I definitely remember the movie, but apparently the Rocketeer actually is about as old as I am, actually. I just realized that.
Oh, how's that make you feel?
I don't know. I really thought this was like a Golden Age character. I don't know why I just had a brain fart about that, but I really thought the Rocketeer was a character from like the 1940s. But the Rocketeer is actually a new invention. If I remember correctly, it's from an artist named Dave Stewart. I think it originally was at Dark Horse Comics, but now IDW has it. And they're celebrating 40 years. They have a slew of a collection of bunch of Rocketeer books that are coming out through IDW to celebrate. So definitely keep an eye on that and definitely find out more about it inside Previews Catalog this week. And so when I used to date this girl who had a kid.
Oh, boy. That's a good start.
That's a good start. And so he always used to say, before he would inevitably punch me, he would always say, "Ninja, go," right?
Okay.
So every time I say this, I'm going to hear in my head that kid saying this. But basically, there's a Ninja Go series from Lego, featured from which is a Lego franchise, right? And it's coming out from Skybound. And interestingly enough, yeah, despite my own personal trauma with the franchise Ninja Go, I think it's really interesting that Skybound's the one releasing this because clearly they're getting their feet wet into the world of licensing.
Yeah.
And that's something we might have to talk about a little bit later. Like, just a little tease there,
A
guys. This
little
might be
foreshadowing.
yeah, this actually is kind of a very Kirkman-y episode. Actually, now I
It
think about it.
is. It is. I
Yeah,
hadn't realized that.
it's a little Kirkman heavy this episode. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and we'll explain what exactly the hell we're talking about right now.
Oh boy.
uh, all right, let's dive into what's at comic shops. Right, this is actually a big week for comics.
It is.
Here we go. Ashton is here, and I'm here. We have our picks this week, and then we're going to show you what's available at your local comic shop around the country and around the world. Check it out. All right, hallelujah indeed. Ubaldo saying, I made it.
Welcome.
Welcome
Glad
to
you're
the show.
here.
Welcome back to the show, Ubaldo.
Wouldn't want to miss
Um,
you.
okay, Ashton, you want to go first? Or I should go first.
I want to go first. I'm
All
excited.
right, all right, go for it. Yeah, this is kind of like a new thing for you.
It
So
is,
yeah.
it is, and I'm super into it. Like I'm kind of mad I never discovered this earlier, or like didn't sink my teeth into it. Saga's back. That is like the thing this week. Saga is back for the first time in 2 years, maybe more than two, I think actually. I'm missing a lot of time because of the pandemic, so don't trust me. But Saga's back. Issue number 55, new story arc. If you haven't read it, you don't want to do the legwork to catch up, you can jump in right here with issue 55. It's a good jumping on point. It picks up pretty much with where is Hazel and her family, what have they been doing, what's going on. So it'll start right from there. And the cool thing about this book is, as a thank you to the fans, Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples have made this a double length issue. So it's 44 pages, but it's still its regular price point at $2.99, which is amazing. I'm super excited about this. Troy said it. I've just discovered this. I don't know how I've just discovered this, but I'm obsessed with it. Troy hooked me up with the compendium, and I am like, I've been binging this. I'm surprisingly not done it yet because I didn't have a lot of time this weekend to read it. But if you like romance, if you like war, if you like sci-fi, if you like fantasy, literally there's everything in this book. Like this is a perfect gateway. If you're new to comics or you want to try something new, this will sink its teeth into you and not let you go. It is so addicting. Every single issue ends on a cliffhanger, so you have to keep going. Like you need to know what happens next. Yeah, I'm super into it. If you want to hear more of my hot takes, last week I got together with Anna Mia and Louis Stardust. We did an episode of The Panel where we discussed the first arc, the first 6 issues of Saga, and gave all of our hot takes there and really dove into it more. If you're more interested in what's going on in like a really nitty gritty kind of way, that is a cool thing you can catch. It's on the Previews World YouTube channel. It's about 40 minutes, so it doesn't take up a lot of your time. And I promise you this series will not disappoint.
And I see Monkey G is co-signing. Saga is a good book. I've enjoyed it on and off. All right, on and off. How are you going to enjoy it on and off? It's an ongoing story. There you go. Right. Like you got to keep up with it, man. No, actually, this week is a good point to jump back on for sure. Yeah, I knew something told me, like the minute we put Ashton on this episode of The Panel, that she's going to be sucked into this. I know she is, just because I kind of have a gauge of like your personality when it comes to stories like this. And so I'm so glad that you're definitely like discovering this and definitely love it. So good.
Yes, I'm so excited about it, and I'm a little mad at myself for not like discovering it sooner.
No, I get it. I mean, sometimes I'll openly admit, sometimes when things are super popular, I'm kind of like, I'll get around to it later. Like you kind of want the screaming fandom to kind of die off for a little bit so you can experience it for yourself. But also sometimes it just takes you with you. And it takes you with it. So there's also that too. I'm gonna go off the reservation this week. I'm gonna actually pick a toy.
That is
I'm gonna pick a toy. Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed. Okay, depending on how you're looking at me, right? But on my left, there is an empty. There's a kind of like a desolate shelf up here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of things that I could put up there. And I kind of had this wise idea that I should maybe start buying robot toys.
Why? I thought you hated robots.
I do, but at the same time, I've kind of turned this into a smart room. So I'm sort of like, let's embrace the chaos a little bit and see what happens, right? And
Okay.
one of the things that caught my eye this week is actually Joy Toys Iron Wrecker Mecha. It's really hard to say,
Whoa.
actually. I didn't realize how hard it was to say until right now. And so I'm trying to figure out if I can fit that thing on this shelf back here, or if it'll just collapse the whole thing because it looks a little heavy. But Joy Toy is this company that's been producing a bunch of stuff through Previews World like for a while now, and every time I see their stuff in the catalog, it catches my attention.
Hmm.
And I've seen actually more than a few mechs that they've been releasing. I just love mechs. Like actually, one of the other toy on my shelf right now is actually a mech from Pacific Rim. So that's
Okay.
just kind of my own little weird nerd obsession. It's like I like the idea of like owning mech figures, and I don't have a lot of them. I only
Okay.
have one, but this is definitely one that I like looked at. And I was like, man, it's super detailed. It's got a little pilot. If you take another look at it, it's got a little pilot that comes with it. It's got like all the decals and like all the super
Hmm.
detailed like aspects of it. It's got a gun. It's got a turret. I just think it's so
It's got a
badass.
turret.
I just think it's so badass. And actually, there's actually two of them out this week. And so it's going for $100, which I know some people like $100, but like it's a nice toy. Like, dare I say it's a nice collectible. I guess I shouldn't even call it a toy necessarily, right? But it's a nice and cool looking collectible, and it's available from Joy Toy.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you guys at least check out the catalog on a regular,
Hmm.
see what else is Joy Toys offering, because they have a bunch of like robot men and like mech suits and all this other stuff. And it's just right up my alley. And it keeps catching my attention. And I
Yeah.
think I'm finally going to bite the bullet and get one for myself. So there you go.
I mean, like you said, you get your money's worth with it because it
Mm,
is so detailed and they've really gotten in every nook and cranny with it. So it's not like you're just getting like a glob of whatever robot. Like it's
right.
so meticulous.
So meticulous. Absolutely. It's definitely meticulously designed. Oh,
Mhm.
I forgot. I do have I guess this counts as a mech. Do Transformers count as mechs?
I
I kind of
I
wonder.
think so.
Well, I guess, yeah, because people get inside them, they drive them. So yeah, I guess
Yeah.
yeah, technically, but I have the DeLorean gigawatt figure over here, but I can't open it, so I refuse to take it out of the box.
Darn.
So I need something I can take out of the box and just fully display. So I'm thinking like, yeah,
Mhm.
this this tactical assault mech is got my name on it for sure. So definitely
I
keep an eye
noticed
on
that
that.
it's 1/25th scale, which is like,
Yeah.
what size would it be at full scale? That would be a
Right.
big old boy.
Right, right. Well, that's also the funny thing too. Like they always say 1/25th scale. And I'm like, okay, but it doesn't actually exist.
So
So
how do you know?
how do you know what size it is? But I guess it's just a good estimate for people in the know. I actually had to fall down a rabbit hole not too long ago and kind of figure out like how scales work in terms of like toys. Cause
Oh.
like, yeah, I just thought
Mhm.
it was really weird. After a while, I was like, okay, it's just stuff that it's just the sculptor's just making this up. It's not
I
a
guess
real
it's
thing.
arbitrary.
It's very
1/18.
arbitrary. It's very arbitrary. I actually wish they would just tell you like it's 12, it's 13 inches tall, like, but that's just me. Apparently, I don't speak toy collector lingo. Anyway, speaking of toys,
Mm.
Natasha's here, like she is just
Ooh.
about every week on our show, and
Yeah.
she's going to show you what's available inside the previous toy chest. And when we come back, I'll show you where you can find her videos. All right, check
Mhm.
this out.
Hey everyone, here's this week's rundown of some of the toys, statues, and collectibles hitting store shelves for the first time. Let's take a look inside the previous toy chest for the week of January 26th, 2022. Be sure to check with your local comic shop for availability. And to see more, head over to previousworld.com/toychest. There you'll feast your eyes on more hot new collectibles.
All right, and you can catch Natasha every Tuesday on on the Previous World feed for Previous Toy Chest, where she gives you a rundown of all the toys available at your local comic shop. But you can also catch her on Diamond Select Toys Ziz.
Nice.
Diamond Select Toys YouTube channel, because she's been doing unboxing videos, which I actually think are really cool. And
Yeah.
it's got a lot of personality to it. If you've ever met Natasha in real life, if you ever met her at, I don't know, New York Comic Con or Toy Chest, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Toy Fair, you know that she loves this stuff. Like, she eats this stuff up. So yeah, it just oozes Natasha all over the screen, and I love that about it. So definitely follow Diamond Select Toys on YouTube, and definitely keep an eye on Previews World every Tuesday for videos featuring Natasha and the toys out this week. All right, what's next? What we got here? News.
News, like a
News.
question.
All right. You're not going to do it, Riley? You're not going to do the news sound?
Doesn't want to embarrass himself like Johnny does.
Shame, Riley, shame. No, every week we do that. Johnny's out this week because he's at Disney World. And typically he gives us a little, I don't know, he just belts out a news during the segment. But I guess Riley wasn't down for it. He was like, I'm not interested. Save that noise. Oh, I mean, because you never know what it's going to be. It could be like a song. It could be like a grunt.
Oh, yeah. You're 100% right.
You just don't know. So shout out to you, Johnny. All right. So what's going on in the world of nerddom? Because we got some bases to cover here. There's quite a few of them. So what's going on?
Yeah, we do. So G.I. Joe and Transformers are moving their licenses from IDW at the end of the year. They're moving on to greener pastures. IDW said in a statement, at the end of 2022, IDW will bid a fond farewell to the publication of G.I. Joe and Transformers comic books and graphic novels. We're exceedingly proud of our stewardship of these titles, 17 years with the robots in disguise and 14 years with a real American hero. And we thank the legions of fans for their unwavering support. That said, the company still has a year's worth of stories planned for those licenses, including G.I. Joe's 40th celebration this year. And they'll also be hanging on to My Little Pony and Dungeons and Dragons, so it's not a full wipe of the Hasbro titles.
Oh, okay, interesting.
It is unclear where these licenses are headed after their time with IDW, but like we mentioned earlier, Skybound and Robert Kirkman have expressed a lot of interest in these two licenses, so those two things could possibly be connected.
Now, I think that's interesting because I expected all Hasbro's titles to just go to a different publisher.
Right.
But it seems like Hasbro's being very selective in this maneuver. They're like, no, we're going to take it from here, potentially go to Skybound, potentially go to the House of Kirkman. So we'll see about that. I'm also curious. I know that fan favorite G.I. Joe writer Larry Hama, who's been writing G.I. Joe for close to like 40 years, I think, at this point, was doing the IDW books. And I wonder if they're going to bring him over in this transition or if this is going to be a complete relaunch. I'm also just very curious of if it goes to Skybound. Like, we have no inside track on this. But I'm also very curious what they will do differently from what IDW has been doing with the franchise. So yeah, will we get G.I. Joe versus The Walking Dead?
I mean, look, like they did the Transformers My Little Pony thing, which was like weird, but also made perfect sense.
There you go. I'm just saying, like, yeah, the crazier things have happened on in the Hasbro franchise line of franchises. So yeah, interesting. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to talk about Zdarsky and Chichetto back on Daredevil because I am really excited for this. I've been personalizing a lot of my statements on the show today. I've been really kicking myself because I didn't get on the ground for Chip Zdarsky and Mark Tichetto's run. And so I am so glad to find out that they are, after Devil's Reign, they are coming back to the Daredevil franchise. So let me stop ad-libbing and just give you the facts. If you thought Zdarsky Chichettos were done after Devil's Reign, they are not. And all is right with the world. Okay, that was a little bit more ad-libbing. Sorry, guys. This week, a new Daredevil #1 arises from the ashes of Devil's Reign's climactic ending. Writer Chip Zdarsky and artist Marco Cicchetto will be continuing their Eisner-nominated run on Daredevil this June. Known for their transformative work on the saga of Matt Murdock, Elektra, Kingpin, and more, the Superstar creative team will turn their gaze to the future full of peril and pain, and a little bit more ad-libbing, as it should be for Daredevil. I just want peril and pain with Daredevil. That's all I ever want. This explosive beginning of an all-new era for Hell's Kitchen's Guardian Devil. After the shocking events of Devil's Reign, what is left of Daredevil? Who lived, who died, who is left to pick up the pieces? Fans can expect the series to tackle both Matt and Elektra's journey as they deal with the brutal cost of taking on the Daredevil mantle. With new enemies and radical changes to the fabric of Daredevil's mythos, Daredevil #1 is set to usher in the darkest hell's kitchen to date. Yes, the darkest hell's kitchen to date. I didn't write this, so like for a second I was a little thrown by that. So yeah, that's coming in June from Marvel, and like I said, I'm super excited. This is probably one of the better books that Marvel's putting out right now.
Mhm.
And I'm also noticing a small sea change a little bit here at Marvel. There's some interesting things going on over there right now.
Hmm.
And I say that because you talked about Zeb Wells and
Right.
John Romita on Spider-Man, which I think is a big get. For the Spider-Man, for Amazing Spider-Man, but also they announced that Lansing and Kelly are on Captain America. Christopher Cantwell, of course, is still on Iron Man.
Mhm.
Donny Cates and Ryan Otley are on Hulk. Donny Cates and Nick Klein are on Thor. Ram V and Brian Hitch are on Venom. Kieran Gillen on X-Men. Ridley and Cobalt on Black Panther. And now this. I mean, I think it's going to be a good time to be a Marvel fan right now. And like, I've joked before, I'm a Marvel hoe bag. So I might be shilling a little bit, but I don't get paid for this to shill for Marvel, believe me. So all I'm saying is it looks like it's going to be a good time to be reading Marvel comics right now. So definitely keep an eye out and definitely pick up the February previews to see
Mhm.
what's available for Marvel in the coming months. All right, what else we got? Oh, what's going on with Image?
Image is turning 30 this year. They have an
Mhm.
anniversary. So they're celebrating their 30th anniversary with their upcoming anthology series, Image! Exclamation point.
Mhm.
It's kicking off in April. It's a 12-issue series that will treat readers to all new stories from some of the biggest and best names in comics. It'll be edited by Image Comics publisher Eric Stevenson, and it's going to feature a combination of ongoing serials and standalone short stories featuring, like I said, some of the biggest names that have worked at Image. So just to give you a taste, Jeff Johns, Mirka Andolfo, Scotty Young, Rick Remender, Robert Kirkman, Tim Seeley, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and that's just scratching the surface. They've
Mhm.
really wrangled up everybody for this. So Image, exclamation point. It's a very important part. Image #1 will be at comic shops April 13th.
All right, yeah, and actually, yeah, that's their 30th anniversary. Diamond's doing their 40th, Image is
Yeah,
doing their 30th. Of course, happy birthday to both of you. And yeah, we'll definitely we're more than likely going to have more Image celebration stuff, I'd imagine,
I'm
throughout the year.
sure.
And especially on the heels of Tom McFarlane breaking several records just in the last few months. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
a cause to celebrate as well. So, all right, Ashton, let's talk a little bit about what's going on outside of comics, right? But it's also
Right.
comic book adjacent, right?
Okay.
Did you get a chance to see the Batman clip?
I did.
Okay, what did you think of that?
Okay, so I was watching it, and the first 30 seconds of it, it was kind of boring, and I was about to be like, yo, like this is dragging. And the moment I had that thought, here comes this car just like crashing through the doors.
So
Uh,
actually, I should give fair warning. If you don't want spoilers, you might want to turn away for a little bit because we are going to talk a little bit about the clip. We have not seen the movie, so just so you know. What were you about to say, Ashton?
is this movie's not out yet, is it? What?
No, it's coming out in March, which is nuts to me.
Okay, the way you said that, you're like, we haven't seen it. And I was like, I swear to God, this movie hasn't
No,
released yet,
no, no,
but
no,
I
not
guess
yet.
it could have, and I missed it.
I don't know. I think people sometimes assume we have some inside track, like we're just, yeah, Batman Begins again. I get it,
Yeah,
but
I'm
whatever.
okay with that.
I'm fine with that. There you go. There you go. That's more like it, a Baldo. Batman!
Thank
Exclamation
you.
points.
That's the excitement we want.
There you go. Sorry, Ashton. What were you about to say?
I like Robert Kirkman. I like him in general as an actor, and I know there's been a lot of like back and forth about
Oh,
like is he,
Pattinson.
what did I say?
You said Kirkman.
Oh my God. Well, it is a Robert Kirkman's show.
It is. There you
It's
go.
just in my brain. I didn't even realize I said the wrong name. That's how bad it is. I like Pattinson as an actor. I think he's a good cast. I know there's been a lot of back and forth about like if he is or isn't Batman, if it makes
Mhm.
sense or whatever. I've liked him from the beginning, and I think this kind of set it up really well. I think he captures like the broodingness of Bruce Wayne
Oh yeah.
really well in this
Mhm.
particular clip. What were
Mhm.
your thoughts?
No, one of the things I actually liked about the Michael Keaton Batman is that he was kind of a little bit of a neurotic weirdo.
Okay, yeah.
And I've always I've responded to either Bruce Wayne is super playboy, a neurotic weirdo pretending to be a playboy, or
Okay.
he's just a neurotic weirdo.
Mhm.
And I
Uh-huh. Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of got
yeah.
those vibes from Robert Pattinson in this one
Yeah.
scene, and I'm kind of all for it. Also, I gotta say, Seven is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, such a good movie.
And this movie has some serious Seven vibes,
Mhm.
like up and down. And so, yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, as you can see right here, I mean, this
Yeah.
just screams David Finch's Seven, like
Mhm.
just like 100%. So I'm actually way excited for this. I can't believe it's coming out in March. Like that seems so soon,
It
but
does, but at the
yeah.
same time, I feel like they've been working on this movie forever.
They have. No, that's absolutely true. So, yeah, definitely. If you haven't seen the clip, of course, we're talking over it, but you can take a look at it on YouTube. And I don't know
Mhm.
whose YouTube channel is that we stole that from, but sorry. But shout out to
Sorry to
you because
them.
you got your little icon on the screen. So there you
You're
go.
welcome.
So also something crazy's happened this week. We were talking about Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
Walking Dead's wrapping up
It is.
after what,
Series
11 seasons?
finale.
Yeah, crazy. Have you been following it closely? Have you kind of died off on it? Or I mean, 11 years is a long time, so I can't
Yeah.
blame you.
So I have to be honest here. I was a huge Walking Dead fan for the longest time, like
Mhm.
obsessive. Like it was always a thing. Like friends would come over my house on Sunday nights. We would watch the show and then we would watch The Talking Dead directly after. And it was
Mhm.
like a thing. And I loved Carl so much. And then they killed him off and I rage quit the show.
Okay. All right.
But my brother kept up with it and he was like, no, he's like, honestly, you need to like pick up from where you left off, give it another chance. It is so good. It's probably the best it's been since the first 3 seasons. So that combined with the fact that it's coming to its glorious end, I feel like I have to. I feel like I owe it to myself
Mhm.
to circle back and see what's up.
So actually, so I mean, I know you said you haven't been keeping up with it, but I know they killed off Rick in the
I
comic.
don't think that's true at all. They didn't kill off
They
Rick.
didn't kill off Rick. I mean, well, in the comic, right?
So Rick died. Okay, so spoiler if you were reading The Walking Dead,
Oh,
whatever,
sorry,
you
guys,
finished
my
it.
bad.
Rick dies at the end of The Walking Dead comics. He gets
Mhm.
killed by a human because Rick can't get killed by a zombie. Why would he?
Yeah.
So he gets
Mhm.
killed by a jealous leader at Alexandria, whatever. And they have a really nice send off for him. In the show,
Mhm.
he gets hurt in battle. He gets seriously hurt in battle. He gets thrown from a horse. He gets a piece of rebarb through his rib cage and probably his lung. And he gets helicoptered out to, I believe, the Commonwealth or another community
Okay.
to receive medical attention. And so what the thought is here is Scott M. Gimple is planning like a kind of like a spin-off trilogy of Rick's journey after that and his experience at the Commonwealth. And then they
Okay.
mention the Commonwealth in this trailer, so maybe they'll tie those two things back in together.
Huh. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I was just very curious if there was much of a difference because I know this is all like, in my peripheral, right? Like I know
Mhm.
that I actually have the last issue of Walking Dead and I actually have read that. But as far as the TV show goes, I just kind of know what I see kind of like, trending online. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I thought it was really interesting. I was very curious if both Ricks met a similar death. But there is still Fear the
Both
Walking
Ricks.
there is still Fear the Walking Dead, right? There is another Walking Dead show on, or is that gone?
Oh yeah, there is. Mhm.
Okay, all right, all right. So
I'm less I can not speak as intelligently on that. I'm less familiar.
no, it's fine. I
I
just
watched the first 2 seasons of it and it was very good. It's
okay.
just like we talk about a lot. There's only so much bandwidth and
Yeah.
certain things got to go, and that was one of them for me.
Absolutely. Monkey Jeeb is actually in the chat saying supposedly Flash had a screening. Yes, it did. The new Flashpoint movie with
Oh,
Ezra Miller. Apparently there was a screening for it.
oh damn!
Just
They
this.
made that thing finally.
Yeah, they did. Like finally, right? Yeah, because it's gone through a lot of rewrites, and I think a couple of reshoots, and like a lot of
Yeah,
stop and goes. But yeah, it looks like it's actually going to be a thing, and I'm curious what the reaction has been so far.
I felt
Uh,
like Flash was a high point to Justice League. I liked him.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a totally fair statement. Monkey Jeep is also pointing out in terms of Walking Dead, people were
Hmm.
mad there were solicitations for more issues, and they canceled the book early. I know that some fans were, but I also heard a lot of retailers like actually very grateful for that because
Oh,
ultimately
really?
what you get is some sort of scarcity, which is good for the speculator market. Which I
Mm.
know not everybody loves the speculator market, right? But at the end of the day, collectibles are also a good way for the industry to like kind of prosper. So I know some stores actually definitely benefited from that. Is it worth reading The Walking Dead if you follow the TV show religiously? I don't know, Ashton. What do you say?
I think so, absolutely.
Mhm.
and I think I've mentioned this before, but if for no other reason than to get like the full impact of the villains, specifically in my experience, Negan and the governor, a lot of the things that make them so vile can't be translated to TV because of the subject matter. So I think they're more powerful in the comics, and especially with Negan. I love Negan as a villain. And I'm gonna not get on my soapbox for too long. I love Negan as a villain because he's literally Rick. And he murders for his people, but because Rick is our hero, you see Negan as a villain, when in fact, if the roles were reversed, Negan's people would see Rick as a villain. So I think he's really interesting. And I think Kirkman fleshes him out a little more in the comics. So I think you definitely should.
Okay. All right, cool. Actually, I kind of like that. Those opposing viewpoints and like who is the real bad guy here. Actually, I always love stories like that. Absolutely. Let's see here. Where else are we going to do next? Oh, Captain America time. So Captain America. So I actually mentioned that Lansing and Kelly are going to do a Captain America series. Here's a trailer for that series. It's also a sister series or brother series called by Carmen Carnero and Tochi Onyebuchi. And when we come back, I'll talk a little bit more about it. Check this out.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. It is led to a fight, and a duel is due, and the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
I'm telling you guys, it might be a very good time to be reading Marvel again. Every now and then I see the haters in the comment. I'm like, all right, guys, you don't have to read everything, but this might be one of those stretches where it might actually really pay off. I love the original theme song from the cartoon. Yes, that was a nice touch from the old school Captain America cartoon. And like I said, these are 2 new series. So I was very curious how they were going to play this, like how Marvel was going to handle this, because of course you have Anthony Mackie playing Captain America in a TV show now, and of course, if you kill Captain America off to make room for him, you're just going to piss everybody off, right? So, how do you have your cake and eat it too? And that's exactly what they've done. They've managed to make these 2 characters have equal footing with 2 separate series. I imagine there'll probably be plenty of crossover. It looks like that's already starting with issue number 0, and yeah, you can take a look at issue number 0 and get a feel for it inside this month's previous catalog because the February catalog is out right now. So definitely check that out. Yes, previewsworld.com/catalog. Thank you, Riley. Appreciate that. And all right, where else have we got here? It's time for some asinine arguments. Ashton, ready to get
We haven't
asinine?
done this one in a while, and I've cooked up a banger.
All right, I'm taking your lead here, Ashton. You show me what's so asinine about this argument. Let's go.
Okay. Okay. So I love ridiculous arguments. That is one thing you should know about me. I like to yell about things that seemingly have no point. So I've asked you guys to weigh in. And we're going to start off with something that makes sense, and then we're going to make it worse later. Just stay tuned. So I asked you guys to weigh in with your feelings about soundtracks. Who has the best score? Who has the best superhero theme? And we'll see what you guys had to say. So here were your takes. Andrew says, I mean, the John Williams Superman theme is the most famous superhero score. Personally, I loved Hans Zimmer's The Dark Knight score, and I love Portals by Alan Silvestri, which is the big Avengers score from Endgame when the portal opens. Danny says, Danny Elfman's Spider-Man theme captures an entire range of emotions. It's heroic and sad, mysterious and dangerous, and just overall moving. It could be argued that the sequel intro is even better. Jonathan says, since enough people have already taken dibs on Superman 78 and Batman 89, I'll give a shout out to the underrated gem that is James Horner's theme for The Rocketeer. Olivia says, I think the theme from Captain America.
There you go.
Casey says, the tie, Williams, Superman the movie, and Elfman's Batman. Calvin says, Superman theme followed by the theme from Avengers. Kathleen says, Wonder Woman. Solid choice. All right. So, Troy, what do you think here?
Oh, what is the best theme? Oh, damn. Okay, actually, I was not prepared for that.
Oh, sorry. I
That's
can
a tough
talk
one.
because I have an answer.
Yeah, what's your? Give me a second, and you go ahead and talk. What do you think it is? Oh, Monkey G was saying Guardians of the Galaxy for modern superhero soundtracks. Okay, cool.
Okay, so I'm going to completely disregard the question as it stands because I don't care for that. I think, I think the Imperial March. Like, tell me something more iconic than Darth Vader's song. You can't.
I mean, in terms of themes, yes, the Imperial March is a banger.
It is. It's a banger.
I'm sure that's exactly what John Williams was thinking when he put it together. He's like, "This is a banger. These kids are going to be thumping this. Kids are going to be thumping this in their cars for the next like 20, 30 years, or 50 years." Yeah, you know what? I mean, look, I own. What do I own? I own Superman the movie. On vinyl, actually. Actually, I also own Luke Cage, but that's not the same thing. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say Superman the movie. I think that it's such an easy get, but it's just so great. Like I can't think of any way to put it. It's such an excellent. It just fully embodies everything that character is supposed to be, and it does it in a way that is just grand and epic and heroic, and it does all those things. And then you get to the love theme and get the little love theme in there too, and that kind of plays in as well. Yeah, it just gives you a little bit of everything. So yeah, I'm going to be basic and say Superman the movie, but it's a popular choice for a reason. It's one of the greats.
Here's Riley.
Riley. Oh, now Riley's going to show his face.
Now I'm showing up. I love this question. And my first thought was also Danny Elfman's Batman. But the one I didn't see commented that I also was thinking about a lot, and I don't know, you can debate if it counts or not, is the theme from The Incredibles, which I think is one of my favorite movies. It's a great superhero movie, and the theme music, every time I watch it, gets stuck in my head for like days. So that was the one that came to me, and I was like, oh, I didn't see it, so I was like, I'm going to try to sneak this one in.
Okay, no, actually, you know what? I'm a soundtrack like lover. Like I love me a good movie score. And yeah, Michael Giacchino on the Incredibles. Yep,
it's very good.
It's very good.
You just had that back in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean that's what he
know that guy's name.
I just know that guy's name. Michael Giacchino's done. He did was it Rogue One, and he did something fairly. Oh, he did Spider-Man. He did the more recent Spider-Man.
The soundtrack
movies.
for Rogue One was great.
Yeah, like he did the Spider-Man movie most recently. I think his Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man. I know some people are giving shout outs to Danny Elfman, and Danny Elfman's great, but yeah. Definitely that Spider-Man. Just real quick before we get to the asinine arguments. DJ Young says no votes for Kiss from a Rose. I see. I like Kiss from a Rose, but it's not really I guess it's kind of a theme. Yeah, it's like the Seal song from Batman Forever. There we go. I don't know. Dum 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 da dum 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 dum. I don't know quite what that is.
That's Darth Vader.
Is that dum 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 dum? Okay, all right, okay, maybe I could see that. But yeah. So all right, Ashton, what is the asinine argument? What are we doing here?
Okay, so let me ask you a question to lob this up. Have you seen Dune yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, how did you feel about Hans Zimmer's score in Dune?
Oh man, you know what? It's so weird to me because I very rarely see people, unless it's like a superhero thing. I very rarely see people complaining about movie scores.
Right.
And I've seen people complain a lot about the Dune one.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, this is going to get into a whole thing, but like, there's two functions for a score, right?
Mhm.
As far as I'm concerned, this is my own personal belief. I've actually gotten into it with my film class teacher
Oh
about this
boy.
one time.
Oh no.
But I feel like a good film score sets the tone
Mhm.
for the movie. Like it embodies the tone of the movie. And when you see a movie that doesn't have a film score that matches it, you know.
Yeah.
But when the film score matches the movie, you don't quite notice it. Um, but I say that to say the other part of it is that ultimately, when you listen to it by itself, it brings up images from the movie, and it also has its own emotional weight, and it's
Mhm.
telling a story on top of that. Funny enough, Hans Zimmer and Pharrell's Amazing Spider-Man score, and I
Mhm.
know I just said Hans Zimmer and Pharrell,
Yeah. Wacky combo.
the wacky combo, but they did a great job of telling a story because I never even saw the movie, but I knew exactly what's going on in the score.
Mhm.
That said, Dune sets the tone. It works tonally for what they're
Mhm.
doing. Um, Maybe it's a little distracting for some people, but I don't know if I'm
Mhm.
saying that because I heard that when before I saw the movie, or because it actually is distracting. I don't know. So,
Okay.
what is your take?
I actually loved the score because I thought it was he uses didgeridoos in his score. When was the last time you heard a didgeridoo? Brilliant. I think it's so great because you said, it captures tonally kind of the weight of this movie,
Mhm.
and the heaviness that's happening between these warring houses. But the other thing that I really liked about it, and this is the asinine part that we're getting to here, is it's so different from what you've come to expect about space movies and
Mm,
scores for movies that
mhm,
take place in space. It's much more subdued and low brass and deeper sounds. It's
mhm.
not that big, grandiose Avengers, Star Wars, John Williams, trumpets in space.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I guess that's the thing that I think is asinine is I think people have a problem with it because it's so completely diverts from what you expect. And everyone expects to
Mm.
hear trumpets in space and this grand drama, and it's just not there. And I need someone to tell me right now when we all agreed that trumpets belonged in space, because I don't think that that is true.
I mean, what? Like space has no sound, right? So,
Right. So why are we mad that there's no trumpets? You're just expecting trumpets in
wait,
space.
is that like an argument? Like people are mad that there's no trumpets in the
I
score
mean,
for
they're not
Dune?
necessarily mad per se that it lacks
Okay,
trumpets, but that it's
mhm.
so different
It's so
from
different.
other spacey soundtracks.
But I mean, Dune is not Star Wars. It was one of the inspirations for Star Wars,
Right.
but like it's not Star Wars. Like I like never got that impression that it should be like Star Wars. So I don't even the oh god, what's the original was by Tangerine Dream, who did Blade Runner. Like if you ever get a chance, just if you get a chance to rewatch the original movie, yeah, definitely just notice how oddball it is, but how much it fits. And I feel like in some regard that was something that maybe Hans Zimmer was trying to emulate in some level, like in his own Hans Zimmer sort of way. Like Hans Zimmer
Right.
can't he can't not be epic, but at the same time, I feel like yeah, there has to be a little bit of a you know an alienness to it. You know, it has to feel like it's not earthly.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my thing. So yeah, I get you. I actually should probably try to go to re-listen to that again. I had it on and I was working, and I wasn't really like zeroed in on it. Like you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It kind of just washed over me while I was playing, while I was working on stuff. So maybe I'll give it another shot. But yeah, interesting that people have taken so much issue with this, but I have noticed it too.
I honestly think it has less to do with the music being distracting and less to do and or more to do with it not being triumphant, right? Like it's
Mm,
not a triumphant score and there's no
mm-mm,
like overwhelming sense that something good is coming or going to happen for our heroes, and that's kind of what you come to expect from space movies because the benchmark there is Star Wars. And the score very much tells you when good things are going to happen.
mhm.
And that's not really the case with Hans Zimmer's score because that's not what happens in the story, and that's not what happens in the book,
Yeah,
really.
right, right. I mean, there's yeah, especially in that first movie, like there's no real triumph. It's
No.
actually kind of a lot of tragedy, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I feel you on that. I've had those moments too. Like I sometimes, especially with superhero scores, I'm always a little bit disappointed when they don't stir. You know, they don't
Mhm.
stir something, you know, in me or whatever. Eternals. which is I think Ramin Djawadi, who did Game of Thrones, which is a pretty stirring score,
Yeah.
stirring theme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but his Eternal score was like, okay,
Oh no, really?
yeah, whatever. He also did the first Iron Man, which was great.
Wait, this is a
Um,
nice segue though, because you
mhm.
recently watched Eternals, right? And had a hot take you were dying to share with us.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily a hot take. I feel, it's an okay movie. It's okay.
Oh no.
I think that was really my big takeaway. It's a nice looking movie. It looks really good, and the director definitely directed the crap out of it.
Okay.
But it's just okay, and it's not really given some of the other stuff we've seen in the Marvel universe. I mean, when you think of like the mirror universe and Doctor Strange and like the cities folding on themselves and all that stuff, you know what I mean? It wasn't that inspired, I guess, in terms of like the characters and the things they
Mhm.
can do and all the other stuff. It just seemed very commonplace. Um, but either way, like, it was okay. It was all right. Actually, we have a few comments in here,
Oh.
and someone has pointed out that wait is a good word. It matches well with the theme. He's talking about
Mhm.
Dune, actually. So I actually
Yeah.
agree with you. Yeah, it definitely
So do
matches
I.
well with the theme. Dave also points out, think of the theme for Aliens. It was a great fit for the movie. For wait, actually, I take it back. Sorry. Well, he takes it back. Actually, he says I saw the first one and then I saw and I was like, okay, I
Oh,
clicked
okay,
on the
okay,
wrong
okay.
one. Actually, from Alien, not Aliens. Yeah, I understand
Okay,
exactly
there
what
we
you
go.
mean.
Gotcha.
Actually, I think that there's a good score serves two purposes. Like, it sets the tone, and
Mhm.
hopefully it makes you want to listen to it again.
Yeah.
So any last words on this topic? This asinine argument, Ashton? Not much of an asinine argument, actually. Apparently.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. They can't all be bangers. I came up with another good one today, though, when I was working on the poll that I'm gonna save for next month.
Okay, all right, cool. Actually, Monkey Jeebus is saying, Eternals was just meh. There's Easter eggs, like Wakanda being the seeding point. I actually missed that, and others, but it was lazy with Pip and Star Fox using Guardians themed music. Oh yeah, that's the end stinger. And someone had to tell me that oh god, I'm not gonna remember this guy's name now. There's some teen. I don't know if he's a teen, like this 20-year-old singer who's like a heartthrob right now. He's in his 20s, and
Okay.
he plays Star Fox, and he just shows up at the end of the movie. Harry Styles.
Harry Styles is
See,
in
see, it was completely lost on me when I saw when I was watching the movie. I was like, oh, it's Star Fox. Okay,
Harry
but
Styles.
I
I'm
had to look it up
Googling this.
earlier, and I was like, I had to look it up, and later I was watching something about Eternals, and I was like, oh, it's that guy. Okay,
How did
I've
you
heard of
not
this
know who
guy.
Harry Styles is?
He's just
He's got elf ears in this.
not in my purview at all. He's got elf ears in this. So anyway, well, Ashton Googles Harry Styles in Eternals. Let's go to this week's poll. What do we got this week, Ashton?
Okay, so guys, I found out that it's National Peanut Brittle Day. I don't really know what that means, but it makes for a good poll. If you guys have ever played Candyland, you probably remember Grandma Nutty. She's on like the middle left of the board. She grows peanuts and stuff. So this poll, this is for her. It's a shout out to Grandma Nutty. I asked you guys who, if anyone on the Candyland board is more trustworthy than Grandma Nutty, our collective grandmother. And your choices were no, of course not. Grandma Nutty's the best. Yes, or obviously Gloppy, because who would be more trustworthy than Gloppy?
Okay, all right, okay. I don't know, Riley. Do you have a say in this? Do you have an opinion?
So I have here the roster of
man.
characters,
Nice.
and I have to say, after looking at all of them, I think the answer is no. They all fill me with dread, except especially, so I don't trust any of them, but I very much trust Grandma Nutty. She seems like a kind person. So for me, the answer is no.
Okay. Oh, okay. What we got here?
Oh, it's actually a dead tie between Nope and Gloppy. And I don't know which one Gloppy is. Is he
the one on the right?
Is he the
No, Gloppy's not even in here. He's not even like,
Oh.
he doesn't have legs. He's just like a pile of melted chocolate near the end of the board.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
Yeah, definitely not Gloppy. He also
Okay.
is
All right. That's right. And like, it looks like Grandma Nutty is actually not trustworthy.
Definitely moderately trustworthy.
After my whole spiel about how I trusted her, I clicked the wrong one. Sorry about that.
Look, you threw off the entire vote.
I did. It was a good bit. And then I ruined it.
Sorry, Ashton. It looks like you're alone. Dave liked it though. So
Thank you.
thanks,
I'm glad you
Dave.
thought that was funny.
Sorry, Ashton. I guess you're the only person on Team Grandma Nutty. It sounds well. You and 9.1% of other people on this poll.
That's fine. Grandma Nutty will protect us all.
Things you never thought you'd hear today, kids. What is this week's comic shop shout out?
This week's comic shop shout out goes to Brian's Comics, and it comes from Helen. And Brian's Comics is in Petaluma, California. So we'll show you some images from inside Brian's Comics during the credit roll. You can get a look at their shop. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, you can find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your local comic book shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
I feel like California has all these cities I've just never heard of.
What is Petaluma? Where is
Petaluma? Right? Like, yeah, I've been playing Watch Dogs 2, and like it's in California, and they go, of course it's open world, so these are real places they're going to, but yeah, like every couple of cities, I'm like, where is this? I've never even heard of this place before. Of course it's just like Silicon Valley and Oakland, but yeah, there's other places where I'm just like, I've never even heard of this town before.
I need to see it on a map. What's it?
Right. Oh, you pulling it up? You pulling it up right now?
I'm trying. It's not going well.
Does it even exist?
Where is it? It's not near anything. Oh, it's sort of near Berkeley.
Okay, all right. I have heard of Berkeley at least. That's where the Incredible Hulk. That's where the Incredible Hulk went to.
Okay, good.
Got radiated at in the TV show.
Great. Perfect.
Important facts. All right. I guess that's it for this week's show. Yeah, we're at 53 minutes. Actually, Dave knows where it is. He says near Napa Valley.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, much appreciated. And Monkey Jeep says, "Is this north of Los Angeles?" That's not helpful.
It exists. If you would just say it like that, I'm not confident it exists.
I'm not confident. It does exist, I swear. Hey guys, just a reminder to like, follow, and subscribe to Previews World, where you can hang out with me. Of course, this Previews World is kind of where we give all the ongoing news about what's available at your local comic shop, like the things that are in the catalog, things that are coming up that's about to be announced by major publishers, even some of the smaller publishers. And of course, I do interviews with people. And Ashton, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Free Comic Book Day. And that is, of course, your Free Comic Book Day news. We have preview pages of the books you can get on Free Comic Book Day, and we'll keep you up to date with all of that good stuff, any announcements, and we'll just be doing a rundown of all the titles you can get so that you can get excited. And as a reminder, May 7th at your local comic book shop.
There you go. First Saturday in May, guys. It's easy to remember. We've been doing it for years. I also want to let people know over on previeworld.com right now, I have 2 interviews and I'm kind of excited about. One is for a book called Bigfoot Frankenstein, which is exactly how it sounds. Basically, someone stitches a bunch of Bigfoots together and basically Frankensteins them.
All right, perfect. But there's multiple big feet.
There's multiple big feet. There's a whole race of them, apparently, according to the story by Vernon Smith and Company. So, yeah, check that out. Get to learn more about that series. And also, this is a Get Graphic article. So, Riley, if you scroll down a little bit more, Vernon, basically, there's Vernon there. He shows us the artistic process behind making this comic, which I think is always good. And I do these interviews on a weekly basis. So if you are curious about the creation of comics, you should definitely check it out. Also, there is a Cowboy Bebop article up this week. Look, I know, guys, the TV show came and went. Not everybody's excited about it, right? But right. I mean, some people liked it, some people didn't, right? But here's the thing, right? There's a comic book from Titan out that just dropped today, and it actually looks pretty cool. And given the circumstances around the TV show, that does not automatically mean that the comic will not be good, actually. And it's kind of a cool looking comic. It's got a cool Stanley Art Germ cover as the main cover and a bunch of subsequent covers. And it's from Titan Comics. And I got to interview the creator, one of the creators, Dan Waters. And I'm actually going to do an interview with the other, with the artist later in February. And it's cool because basically Dan just gave me his favorite episodes of the anime, not the TV show. The anime.
Oh, I love that. That's cool.
So definitely check that out and see if you and Dan agree on what the best episodes of Cowboy Bebop are. That's on previewsworld.com right now. And that's it for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
And we will see you guys at the Spinner Rack. Catch you later.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.